Hi, this is Jaya. In this video, we shall see the summary of Draupadi, a story written by Mahasweta Devi. Mahasweta Devi is a Bengali writer and also a social activist, and she has written many novels and short stories in Bengali. Some of her important works are Amrita Sanchay, Aranyar Adighar, Hajar Churushar Ma, Rudali, and Choti Munda Tartir. She was honored with many awards, and a few among them are Sagitriya Academy Award in Bengali, Jnanapith Award, Raman Magsaysay Award, Padma Shri, and Padma Vibhushan. Draupadi is one of the three stories from the collection Agnikat, which was published in 1978, and Devi had set the story against the Naxalites' activities of 1967 to 72. In the story, we see Draupadi and her husband Dulna are the most wanted people in the list of West Bengal. What happens to both of them is what we come to know in the story. The story is translated in English by Gayatri Chakrabarti Shpak. The first part of the story is written in a form of a dossier. Draupadi Mejwan is 27 and wanted by police. Her husband was Dulna Maji, now deceased. She and her husband are the main culprits in murdering Surja Sahu and his sons, and somehow they managed to escape by pretending to be dead during Operation Bakuli, which is an attack by special forces. Captain Arjun Singh is frustrated and feels that Draupadi is one person who is exacerbating his diabetes, so he meets Mr. Sena Naik, who is a Bengali specialist in combat and extreme left politics. He touts the value of the army handbook and says that all the guerrilla fighters must be eradicated, and Draupadi and Dulna are this type of guerrilla fighters. After escaping from Bakuli, Draupadi and Dulna worked in the houses of the landowners, and by working they were able to inform the killers of everything about their targets, and their targets were mainly landowners and moneylenders. Dulna was killed when soldiers infiltrated the forest and they shot him dead. As he was dying, he yelled out Maho. The soldiers left his body as a bait and hoped that someone would come to claim him and they would be also shot, but no one came to claim his body. The search for Draupadi continued. Initially, the fugitives were easy to catch, but now they were not. And there was also not much information about what is happening, about how many they are and how many were killed. So, the Operation Jharkhani forest cannot be stopped. Now the story shows Draupadi walking through the forest. She hears her name but she does not respond because she is now using another name. She was talking to Mushai's wife earlier, who asked her to run away. Draupadi said that she has ran away so many times, and at the same time she also promised that even if she is captured, she will not reveal anyone's name, and she knows what she will do if she is tortured. That is, she will bite off her own tongue, so she will not be able to reveal anyone's name, and since she is an illiterate, they cannot ask her to write the names also. Now she is walking and she hears her name Draupadi called again, but now she is using the name Uppi Mejan. Her mind goes through who it might be who is calling her, and she thinks maybe it is someone from Bakuli, as only Mushai and his wife know the real name. She thinks of Operation Bakuli and the corrupt Surja Sahu. One night, his house was surrounded by them and they tied him up. Dulna wanted the first blow because his great-grandfather took a bit of paddy from him and he was still giving him free labor to repay that debt. Draupadi said she will be the next one and she would pull out his eyes because his mouth watered when he looked at her. Then messages came that the army was near. There was burning, guns, flamethrowers, men, women and children dying. Dulna and Draupadi crawled on their stomachs and they escaped. They made it to Bhupati and Tapa's house. It was decided that they would work around the forest belt. Dulna told Draupadi it would mean that they would not have family and children, but they could wipe out landowners, moneylenders and policemen someday. Draupadi kept on walking. It was only 2 miles to the camp. The footsteps also maintained their distance, but they were still following her. Draupadi decided to lead the cop to the burning cut. But a moment later, lumps of rock stood up and she was captured. Senanayak told his men to rape her, and after a long time she woke up from her daze and felt her arms and legs tied to post. She has no gag, but she was incredibly thirsty. Her vagina was bleeding and her bottom and waist were sticky. She did not know how many men came on her. Her breasts were raw and her nipples were torn, and she hoped for a moment that she had been left there for the foxes to come and devour her, but she heard more men coming. They came to her and raped her again. Morning came, and she was brought to the tent, and a piece of cloth was thrown over her body. A man came in and ordered her to Burra Sahib's tent. She stood up, and instead of drinking the water brought to her, she poured it on the ground. And instead of wearing the cloth, she tore it with her teeth. The man thought she had grown crazy and ran for their orders. There was a commotion, and Sena Nayak walked out and was surprised to see Draupadi walking naked towards him with her head held high. The nervous guards were behind her. She came closer with her hands on her hips and laughed that she is Draupadi Majan, the object of a search, and he told his men to rape her, and they did. Sena Nayak asked where her clothes were, and the men said she tore them. Draupadi, shaken with laughter and a terrifying voice emanating from her bleeding lips, said, "What the use of clothes is? They can strip her, but they cannot clothe her again." And then she pushed her mangled breast on Sena Nayak, who is now afraid. The story portrays the Naxalite movements in Bengal. The oppressed peasants revolted against the landlords and tried to bring them to justice. The way Draupadi is treated brings back to the mind the episode from Mahabharata when Duryodhan ill-treats Draupadi in the court. Draupadi thus stands for the women who still face disrespect at the hands of society. Sena Nayak, police and army stand in the place of Kauravas. However tortured, Draupadi did not give any information about her comrades. Draupadi in Mahabharata is saved by Sri Krishna. But here, Draupadi in this story stands for herself, refusing to take help from men. This story thus records the unspeakable mistreatment of the already oppressed peasants at the hands of police and army. This story is thus socially as well as politically significant, and still today it is highly acclaimed and it is a very moving story. If you have anything more to add on to what I've said, please write it in the comment box, like the video, share it with your friends, and if you have not subscribed my channel, please subscribe and support. Thank you.